Hey everybody, Brian Good here on this Monday. Sorry I didn't get a chance to get a video out last week. Computers were not my friends. But anyway, here's the latest. Yeah, still snow talk. And again, we're looking at minor setups here, but an interesting setup that needs to be monitored. This time of the year, you can't just go completely on model data completely verbatim, as we saw with this weekend system. We've got to just trend things and kind of just keep an eye on what is the reality versus what the models are saying. And one thing I've noticed, first off, yes, we're at about 33 degrees. We do have snow moving in, but the dew point, let's see, just checked it here, it's 13 degrees. A lot of the models say we should have a dew point of about 20 to 21 right now, which means the air is drier than expected. So a lot of this that is falling, moving our way, is likely going to be struggling to even reach the ground. However, because of evaporative cooling, because it is going to cool the atmosphere a bit as it falls, as those snowflakes fall through the clouds, we should actually see a better chance for it to be flakes falling and not so much of a mix with this first little batch moving through. Not a big deal, we'll be above freezing. Alright, so there's the temperature trend. Notice the arrows too, the wind arrows. We had an east-northeast wind when I got here this morning, and we've been shifting around to the southeast, and eventually it'll be south and even southwest. That warmer air is going to get pumped into this, and that's the reason why we're still looking at highs in the 40s today, if not a bit warmer than that, with this becoming more of a mix and not a big deal on the snow side of things. So if you're expecting something to go terribly wrong today with the snow, we're going to get a lot more than expected. Not going to happen. The wind shift, already a good sign that is going to be the case. Now, it was a different story in Paducah this morning because of that dew point being so low. They took a while to get that warmer air in, and burst of sleet took place here in western Kentucky that produced snowfall, and they had to issue a winter weather advisory real quick for southeast Missouri for the potential of about an inch or two of snowfall. They're still reporting snow in Paducah right now. Carbondale's got snow hitting the ground. St. Louis has got flurries, and it's like snow in West Lafayette. Nothing reported yet in Evansville. Not surprising, because I think the area, again, is just going to eat away the leading edge of this. What is actually reaching the ground, more than likely, is going to be right in through here. This is probably what is actually something you would see falling through the sky. And for us, I think it'll just be a period of flurries for midday. Then we should get a brief break. It won't last long because another round is coming. Now, so far, the storm reports for snowfall that has accumulated has been back here in St. Louis. We had heavy snow overnight. No snow reports so far to this batch of a burst here in the west. Not sure why it's taking so long, but I haven't seen any come through yet. All right, so then later on, we will then see this batch come into play with perhaps another, it's the backside of the low pressure moving through, maybe some flurries on the backside of that this evening. But majority of the snow is going to be to our north because this is one of two pieces that will set the stage for this big storm for the northeast. One piece now moving through the Ohio Valley. Here's the other one now moving up the Carolina coast, and it is a perfect setup for a blizzard in the northeast part of the country. The big cities, they'll be measuring about 2 feet of snow in some areas. And Central Park, it could be their biggest snow they've ever had in March. So this is impressive to see this happen. It's not going to happen here, but we will at least get a teaser of it. We have somewhat of a role in this, right? Not much. There's that winter weather advisory in effect for western Kentucky. If you hear that alarm, I promise it's nothing major. It's with our sensor master control. I know, to my hear it, I feel like I should be on red alert when the Klingons are about to attack. Anyway, winter storm warnings in effect for several states. Look how much. I mean, all of New York, all of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Boston, and Connecticut, and then blizzard warnings in effect along and just east of the I-95 corridor. What a crazy mess there. So let's look at some of the high-res models for today. This is the HRRR model showing how we will warm up enough. In fact, it takes us into the 50s in some spots by this afternoon. That would certainly be rain. There could be a burst of wet snow, maybe up in here. That could get some grassy accumulations. So for you guys from Seymour to North Vernon, maybe even Bedford, I wouldn't rule it out. But everybody else, no problem. And the model doesn't see that transition all the way yet, but you can see where it's going with it. I mean, we'll cool down enough that maybe ending is a bit of flurry action, not a big deal. Here is the RPM model. A little colder than the HRRR model is, and it adds in the potential for some grassy amounts, again, in our far northern counties. I got to stress, not a big deal for that. Now, tomorrow is a different setup because, again, we got at this point tomorrow, we're going to have the blizzard developing. We have a strong north flow off of the Canadian provinces, driving that cold air, Arctic air, right into our backyard. So temperatures are going to struggle, even though we'll have a hint or two of sun tomorrow. We're not going to get out of the 30s. And then we get a batch of moisture that moves in just as the sun is setting. If we were to get this batch of moisture during the day, I would say it's going to be just some snow that'll melt on contact, even though it'll be cold. But with it arriving towards sunset, we'll begin to get below freezing, and that makes things a little more interesting. Because even the high-res NAM is indicating a bit of instability right over the heart of wave country. And it's detecting these little snow squalls, these little snow bursts near sunset tomorrow. And yes, it even is trying to hint at a brief accumulation that could take place wherever they develop. Not trying to wishcast here and really stretch things. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just going to give you guys a heads up that there could be some burst of snow tomorrow evening that could cause some slick spots. It is going to be colder, and there could be a light coating of snow that could take place. Who's going to get that? It's showing Bullitt County on this map. Is it going to be Bullitt County? I don't know. The model is, I'm sure, is not right on that, but I think it's going to be in the general vicinity where that potential is there. Just something to watch. All right. Here is the soundings. What we look for in this kind of a deal is right in through here. I know it's hard to see these two blue lines. But we want to see the moisture, which is the green line and the red, the temperature line. We want them close together. And we're seeing that. It's going to be saturated at the point where snowflakes can be generated. And sure enough, the NAM high-res is indicating that it would be snow that would be falling. However, the GFS, while it has the, you'll see a lot in the weather discussions for you weather nerds, the DTZ, the degenerate growth zone where snowflakes are generated. It's showing that as well, but then the lines separate right at the ground level, which means that it could evaporate, it could be virga, and therefore it's not going for any snow. So which one's right? Right now the NAM is the high-res model, so that's the one that has potential. And then looking down the road here, as we head into, let's see, when is this? This will be the cold wave starting tomorrow night. So Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, our coldest night, teens, lower 20s. Not to record level. Our records here in Louisville are about, I think, are 15 and 11. Those will be fine. But it is going to be a serious hard freeze moving our way for the middle of the week. Then as we attempt to warm up, here's where we got some differences in the models here. The Euro is pretty deep with this next little low that comes in for Saturday and Sunday. The ensemble shows it's not as dramatic, but it does show a dip in temperature. GFS does not. It even tries to warm us up. So I trended the forecast. If you look at the Wave 3 News weather app, I trended for a bit of a dip on Saturday after this little low passes by Friday with rain. Although that rain, if it moves in here early enough on Friday morning, could provide a bit of something frozen on the leading edge. It looks brief, not a big deal. That'll be our next thing we'll monitor after tomorrow's little chance for snow. And then looking down the road real quick, starting next week really into the end of March, it looks like this is not going to give up. This constant cold pocket over eastern Canada, which means a very tight pressure gradient and temperature gradient is going to develop here into the northern plains in our area in the Ohio Valley. These low pressures are really going to get wound up and then try to squeeze their way through our area. They will likely be rain events, but it may be hard to get thunderstorms out of it. It may just be cold rain events, but there could be several, and I wouldn't rule out still that one or two of those could end as some snow. So the rest of the month is not looking exactly warm and spring-like the way it appears at this point. So we'll see how it goes. Have a good day.